This episode we're talking about the new year. Now, my question is, why? Not why do we celebrate, but why do we do it then? The point is that throughout human history, calendars have been based on two basic facts. That is either the lunar cycle of the moon travelling around the Earth, or the solar cycle of the Earth travelling around the sun. Now the point is that you could choose any random date for the beginning and the ending of that process, because they are both cycles, they are both circular. So why January the 1st? The point is, there's no logic, no absolute scientific reason as to why we should pick January the 1st as the start of a new year. The ancient Greeks, for example, started their new year with the first new moon after the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, in June. Now to me that makes perfect sense. The Romans, prior to Julius Caesar, started their new year on March the 1st. Indeed, throughout much of the ancient world, religion, more than anything else, dictated when New Years begin and end. However, the Buddhists tend to celebrate their New Year in April, while the Jewish New Year is in September or October. To complicate matters further, prior to Columbus and the European conquest of the Americas, the Aztecs essentially had two calendars, a 365-day solar calendar and a 260-day sacred calendar, together forming a 52-year century with two new years, essentially a civil new year and a sacred new year. So with all these different calendars, why is it that we have January the 1st as New Year's Day? Now, that was adopted by the Christian Church, at least up until 567, when the Council of Tours abolished January the 1st as the new year. But it didn't replace it with any other date. So for many centuries after, through the Middle Ages, there was in the Christian calendar no fixed start of the new year. So people chose their own dates, sometimes Christ's birth, sometimes his death, Easter Day, but also the Feast of the Annunciation, or Lady Day as it's known in March. However, because the Julian calendar never had the concept of a leap year, Easter was increasingly getting out of sync with the equinox. Now, that meant that in 1582, Pope Gregory said, "Enough is enough. I'm going to reform the calendar and set up my own calendar." That became the Gregorian calendar. He deleted 10 days from the calendar to make up the difference and set up the concept of a leap year. And it's the Gregorian calendar that we all live with today. What the Gregorian calendar also reintroduced is the concept of New Year's Day starting on January the 1st. However, this was not universally accepted all over the Christian world. And Protestant countries in particular, such as England, adopted the Gregorian calendar much later. So England didn't adopt New Year's Day on January the 1st until 1752. Before that, they traditionally celebrated New Year throughout the British Empire, including the American colonies, on March the 12th. The Russian and Greek Orthodox Church still actually use to this day a mixture of the Julian calendar, a reformed version of that, which means that in Russia, Christmas isn't celebrated until January the 7th. In fact, Russia was one of the last countries to actually adopt the Gregorian calendar for civil matters in 1918. So throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, with increased global travel, communication, and most importantly, banking and finance and commerce, it was imperative that people around the globe had a common calendar by which to measure things and date things. So all around the world, on December the 31st, regardless of religion, people will be using the arbitrary date of January the 1st for celebrating a coming of a new year.